Week 12 in the NFL kicks off with 3 Thanksgiving games, with all 6 teams coming off losses. It's been another dreadful year in the Motor City, as the Lions still the only winless team in the league. And getting the wounded Chicago Bears at home might be one of their best chances left to get in the win column.
We're trying to win games 14-13 or 16-13. No, but we'll do whatever it takes to win a game.
In the Big D, the Raiders come in on a 3-game losing streak to take on the Cowboys, who were held in single digits for the first time all year against the Chiefs. Dak will look to put that performance in the rearview mirror against a struggling Raiders defense.
Short week, we got to put it past us. We know with the stretch ahead, it's a resilient team is going to continue to fight and get better. I can promise you that.
And the final game on Thursday kicks off in the Big Easy with New Orleans Saints hosting the Buffalo Bills. The Saints have dropped 3 straight as injuries have been piling up. As for the Bills, coming into Week 11, they were favored to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. After a blowout loss at home against the Colts, they now find themselves in the 2nd spot in the AFC East behind the surging Patriots.
That's a fortunate thing for us that we get to play on Thursday and try to get this taste out of our mouths.
Who will get back on track on Thanksgiving? Week 12 is about to get underway.
All right, here's what it looks like. Those winless Lions are home to the Bears. Chicago has their own problems. The Cowboys giving better than a touchdown at home to the Raiders, and the nightcap has the Saints as home dogs to the Bills with Trevor Siemian under center. Buffalo again looking to rebound. So that is your Turkey Day slate. Let's now welcome back the maestro Larry Hartstein and just 1/3 of the Pick Six podcast, Ryan Wilson. The day begins, gentlemen, with Detroit, where the Bears are giving 3 to the winless Lions. The total here, 41.5. Andy Dalton gets the start for Chicago. Their offense seemed to perk up a little bit with him under center last week with Justin Fields getting hurt. Jared Goff's status still questionable. That's your first matchup. Do the Lions get that first win? That's the question. Start with you, Ryan. What's your play on this game?
Yeah, that's a barn burner to start off the old Thanksgiving holidays. Here's how I look at it. If you hate your family, you can at least have Detroit Lions football to keep you company and maybe take your mind off your problems. It could be worse. You could be the Lions. All that said, Jim, I like the Lions to cover this +3. I think this is when it happens. They lost to the Bears earlier this season. Their last win came last season against the Bears. You mentioned that Justin Fields won't play. Yes, Andy Dalton maybe played a little better, but that offensive line is in shambles. The defense is without Khalil Mack and has struggled. It hasn't played like the defenses we've seen in recent years for Chicago. And the Lions, for as much as we like to make fun of them, they had a chance to beat the Browns last week in Cleveland, 13-10. The week before that in Pittsburgh, they had a chance in overtime to beat the Steelers. They got that tie. So they're not playing football games. They're losing by 3 and 4 touchdowns. They're in the mix. I like Dan Campbell. I think he's going to get this team over the hump. And if you're giving me a battle of coaches, I'll take Dan Campbell all day in a knee-biting competition, arm wrestling, whatever, against Matt Nagy, who seems to be on the hottest seat of them all in the NFL as we sit here.
Ryan, I agree with you. I think this is the week. You know the Lions are going to be all in for Dan Campbell. Are the Bears going to be all in for Matt Nagy? It feels like a lot of guys want him fired. And there's no Akeem Hicks in the middle of that defense. And one thing the Lions have done great the last 2 weeks, they've run the ball 229 yards and 168 yards with DeAndre Swift and Penei Sewell. So they're running the ball well. Jared Goff expected to play. He threw for 299, 2 TDs, and no interceptions in the first matchup against the Bears. I think this is the week for the Lions, not only to cover, but win outright.
Yeah, why not, right? They're on a national stage. Why not get that first win on this stage? The Cowboys, meantime, 1-2 over the last 3 games. The offense, with the integration of Dak Prescott, has taken a little bit of a dip from what they were when he played at the outset of the season. Dallas is giving 7.5 home to the Raiders, who, like the Cowboys, Vegas has taken a hit over the past 3 weeks. Your total here is 51.5 for this kickoff. Amari Cooper still out, while Dallas hopes to have CeeDee Lamb back. Larry, what's your read on this game?
Yeah, I think the Cowboys are going to win, but I don't want to lay over a touchdown. I will put the Cowboys in a money line parlay with the Buffalo Bills. That comes back at -125. Both teams just have to win outright. You know, since Henry Ruggs got cut, the Raiders have played 3 pretty bad defenses, Chiefs, Bengals, Giants, and have not looked good. And because they have no one to stretch the field, everyone is crowding on Darren Waller and Renfro, and the Cowboys have a much better defense. Cowboys held the Chiefs to 5.6 yards per play and only 19 points. So yeah, I think the Cowboys bounce back, get the win, but I don't want to lay over a touchdown.
Yeah, I know exactly what Larry means when he's nervous about that number at 7.5. That said, I'm going to throw caution to the wind and celebrate Thanksgiving by putting it all on the Cowboys. I think they win the game, as Larry notes, but I think they put on a show after stumbling offensively the last few weeks. Not having Amari Cooper is going to be huge. We'll see about CeeDee Lamb, as you mentioned, Jim. They got Michael Gallup back. They have the running game getting back to where it used to be. The offensive line is getting healthy, and the defense has been the biggest surprise. They're playing extremely well. That was one of the biggest question marks coming into the season for me, this defense. Micah Parsons has already won Defensive Rookie of the Year. We know how well Trevon Diggs has played. Other side of the ball, you just wonder if all these off-field incidents have started to pile up and weigh on this team. Derek Carr was as frustrated as ever saw him after the loss last week to Cincinnati. A little fun fact for you, Jim and Larry. The last time the Raiders won in Dallas, 1998, the quarterbacks, Jeff George for the Raiders against old Jason Garrett for the Cowboys.
That is a good nugget right there. Meantime, the Bills run over by Jonathan Taylor and the Colts last week. Look to rebound in the Big Easy. The nightcap of the Thanksgiving games has Buffalo giving 6 at New Orleans with a total of 45 and a hook. So the Saints, meantime, we talked about the running game against the Bills. They won't have Alvin Kamara while Mark Ingram is questionable. Trevor Siemian gets the start under center. All that being said, Ryan, what's the best way to look at this game?
This is another tough game because things are just so muddy for both of these teams, probably more so for the Bills. It seems like every other week they turn it on. Last week they gave up 41 points, which was a season worst for them. 4 turnovers, a season worst for them. I think they get it right against the Saints team. Luckily, there are no running backs on the Saints that are healthy. So I think Taysom Hill is the biggest concern to run the ball for them. So maybe that's something the Bills can slow down, which is interesting because the Bills defense has been pretty good this year. I think it's also a time for Josh Allen to get back on track like it's 2020, not like it's 2019. He's been really consistent this year, and I think it's concerned Coach Sean McDermott enough where he had the coaches staying late this week trying to sort things out after that drubbing over the weekend. I think they also have to understand, and it's clear as day because all you have to do is read it off the internets here. They're 7th in the playoff race. That's the last playoff seed. They have lost the division to the Patriots as we sit here. So I think this is a chance for them to get everything right. I think not only do they win this game, they're going to cover this 6 points.
I'm with you, Ryan. If you had a chance to check the injury reports today, you can keep reading and reading on the Saints. They're all pro right tackle out. Marcus Davenport out. Kamara out. The Bills, nobody. I mean, there's 2 guys that are on the report. They're both full participation, including Cole Beasley. So they're completely healthy. And I think the Saints, that final score last week, 40-29 against the Eagles, all of that offense was in garbage time. Trevor Siemian did nothing until the game was out of reach. I just think the Saints are so limited offensively. This is a Bills team that was -4 in turnover margin. If they can just play some better, careful football, Josh Allen's going to get his legs involved, I think, this week. I think this sets up as a big Bills win.
All right, so that's a trio of games. 6 teams on the field, plenty of player options. So how about a top Turkey Day player prop? Larry, lead us off.
I'm going to look at Dalton Schultz for the Cowboys. This guy's had 2 blow-up games against the Eagles and Giants, who are bottom 10 in defending the tight end. Well, guess where the Raiders are? Number 31 in yards allowed to the tight end, over 70 per game. His number is only 47.5. It's actually come down because of CeeDee Lamb's status. It was over 50 earlier today, but with Lamb expected to play, they cut it by a few yards. I don't think it matters whether Lamb plays or not. The Cowboys love to target the middle of the field. The Raiders cannot stop tight ends. Dalton Schultz over 47.5.
I love that, Larry. I'm going Amon-Ra St. Brown over 31.5 receiving yards. There are not a lot of options if you're on that Lions offense and you're playing quarterback, whether it's Jared Goff or Tim Boyle. You have T.J. Hawkinson, who's a tight end who doesn't create a lot of big plays down the field consistently throughout the game. Maybe DeAndre Swift is someone you can hit coming out of the backfield. Amon-Ra St. Brown has made his name known in recent weeks. 4 of the last 6 weeks, he's gone over that 31.5 number. 3 of those times, he's gone over 61 yards. Had a big game against the Steelers. He gets the ball in the middle field, and then he's a yak machine. I think there'll be opportunities for him against this banged-up Bears defense. And if they can get the ball out of their hand, whoever's playing quarterback, into the hands of Amon-Ra St. Brown, I think that 31.5 looks really good.
That's Ryan Wilson, Larry Hartstein, giving their top plays for the NFL Thanksgiving Day slate. Gentlemen, we appreciate the insight. So here's a recap of their picks. Lots of agreement on both sides here. They like the Lions to cover. Both like the Cowboys. Ryan giving them the points while Larry likes them as part of a money line parlay. Ryan and Larry both like the Bills to bounce back and cover against the Saints. Again, that kickoff in New Orleans. As far as a top player prop, it's receivers that are the focus here. Ryan has Amon-Ra St. Brown going over 31.5 receiving yards, while Larry likes Dalton Schultz going over 47.5 on the receiving yards front. For all things NFL, check out the Pick Six podcast. Join Ryan Wilson and his super friends, Will Brinson and John Breach, delivering you the daily fix of NFL news and analysis. They get you up to speed so you're always in the know. It's the Pick Six podcast. Download and subscribe today.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.